Hello, and welcome to episode 54 of the Buxton Barrow Man. I'm currently trekking up Old Road, which is the original connection between Buxton and Whaley Bridge. Now, we don't exactly know how old it really is, but we know that it was first paved by the Romans in the 70s. And yes, that means 70 AD. A very long time ago. The road leads all the way up to the bustling metropolis of Mamousian, modern-day Manchester, but I won't be heading that far. My destination is just up the hill. Here it is, Whitehall. If you've grown up around here, you might recognise it from a school trip doing outdoor activities. But of course, it has been here long before the school visits. The first time Whitehall is seen on maps is in 1604, but there is evidence from the Whitehall family that a farmstead has stood here prior to that. Richard Whitehall had been fined for an illegal essart, which is a forest clearing for farm use. This was from a court in Chapel in Lefrith. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact date, but it does predate the maps, potentially giving evidence to a Norman settlement on site. In 1724, a year after the Turnpike Act, this road was turned into a toll road, interestingly, Derbyshire's first. However, it was bypassed later in 1789 by Long Hill, and Whitehall has connections to both. But the Whitehall that stands today was all built after 1813, with the stable block having that exact date stone on it. In 1884, a devout Catholic, Henry Shaw, purchased the property. He added his own chapel and he redirected the road, as it used to cut straight through the middle of the estate. Now it goes round it. During the work to redirect the road, they found shards of pottery, as well as 2 silver Roman coins, and they believed that they were left by the spring near Whitehall Estate as an offering to the gods. As Shaw passed in 1900, the estate was handed to his son, and later the Stavekers in 1934. It's noted they weren't as religious as the Shaws, and used the estate's chapel to store gardening equipment. Nowadays there's a climbing wall in there. But they also did less sacrilegious things, such as installing a generator for electric lighting in the house, and being pretty darn rich, they of course had a Rolls Royce. However, come the Second World War, they were booted out of the estate by Derbyshire County Council, who used the estate as a school for evacuees. And I mean, I get it. You'd be pretty far off your target to attack up here. The pupils who attended the school were a very long way from home, coming from the Elizabeth College for Boys in Guernsey. And unfortunately for the Stavekers, they never got the property back. The council still held on to it even after the Second World War. In 1949, the talented climber Jack Longland became the Director of Education for Derbyshire. And although the concept of outdoor learning for state-educated students was relatively new, it was him who convinced the councillors the benefits of an outdoor education centre in the county. After the big meeting with one of Swandlercoat's councillors, who was so convinced that he reported to have said that I wouldn't be surprised that all of them after leaving the meeting had gone down to Sadler's Gate in Wakefield, bought themselves a full rig out, boots, anoraks, ropes, the lot. And from that, Whitehall became the first local authority-led outdoor pursuit centre in the country. Its first residential was hosted in 1951, from the 22nd of February to the 2nd of March, with a group of boys from Springbank School in New Mills. From there, the facility only grew, as positive reviews from pupils and teachers came in. In 1958, the facility gained royal approval, with a visit from Prince Philip, where he watched a group canoeing in Whaley Bridge Canal and a climbing session at Castle Naze. In order to reach the foot of the cliff at Castle Naze, the Duke needed to walk uphill for about 10 minutes or so, and he was given a pair of Whitehall Wellingtons to do so. The story has it that the Duke's shoes were somehow mislaid on his return, so he had to leave for his next engagement wearing the Whitehall Wellington boots. For over 70 years that Whitehall has been running, it has provided some incredible outdoor courses for well over 1 million young people in Derbyshire, all led by some incredible and great instructors and leaders. And I know how vital outdoor education is. Sadly, when it was my turn to do Whitehall as a kid, I wimped out and I didn't want to do it. But come secondary school, in Year 9 camp, I decided to go abseiling. I was absolutely petrified, I hated it, and as soon as I did it, I loved it. And it opened me up as a person. I took that further in Year 10 by doing kayaking and canoeing, something that our school enforced us to do. Being in Hope Valley makes sense, it's in the countryside. But once I was getting scared of getting muddy, I was actually enjoying being outside. And in college I took that a step further by doing actual outdoor pursuits as my course. So most of the week I'll either be on top of hills, underneath them, I could be on the lake, or I could be teaching someone how to do a walk. But I can say confidently I wouldn't be who I am today without outdoor pursuits. And I think it's really important that it is a mandatory part of school education today because, well, I wouldn't be making this video otherwise. So I'm incredibly thankful that Whitehall exists, and I hope that it will do so for many years to come. Plus, some counties, they have to go to a private company for this. The council own it. But thank you very much for watching. A huge thank you for all my supporters on Ko-fi. Hope you've enjoyed, and until next time, ta-ra. Hello, and welcome to episode 54 of the Buxton Barrow Man. Barrow Man? Bollocks. It's a long walk back.